Talking about relationships with food, if someone watching now is like, I have a horrible relationship with food, how do they kind of grow into having a positive relationship? What are kind of like steps or tips you have for them?
Well, I'm going to plug my e-course here.
There we go.
Because I actually just created this e-course, and I put all of the tools that I teach moms all the time in this course. And so a lot of them are really based in cognitive behavioral therapy and like changing the way that you think about food in your body. But always my first step for like anyone who's trying to get away from diet culture and trying to have a positive relationship with their body and food is awareness. I think that awareness piece is so important. So just having an awareness that there is diet culture, because so many people have never even heard of this before. And so when you see it, like call it out for what it is. So if somebody says, oh my gosh, she lost so much weight and she looks so great. Like in your mind, you can be like, and that's a diet culture message. Or if you see a product being like, you should get healthy and do this, like, why do I have to do that to be healthy? Like that's a diet culture message. And so like that is where I like really truly like to start everybody, because it takes your power back. Like if you can just call it out for how it is, then it takes the power away from the messages being able to affect you. Again, that's my first step, but I do have like lots of other skills that I teach that are really helpful, I think.
Your feed, it covers so many different areas that like, initially I wouldn't even think it relates to body positivity. And then I'm like, oh wait, no, it does. It kind of all like loops back, you know, like self-love aspect, loving your body and different relationships with food. Yeah, that's awesome. So what other like tips do you have for moms, especially? I notice a lot of times it comes from family members, like maybe they just had a baby and their significant other or mother-in-law is, you know, giving them tips. So what are ways that they can kind of ignore that or, you know, stick to what makes them feel good without, you know, ignoring it?
Yeah. I think it's so important to like not keep avoiding it if possible. And now like I know that these conversations can be really hard. And I also know very well that a lot of the beliefs that people have about food and weight, those people are very enmeshed in diet culture. So when you tell them something like, you know, losing weight isn't automatically healthy, they're like, yes, it is. And so they can become very defensive, and that makes the conversation so hard.
Yeah.
So like, I have a relationship with my brother where like he's very enmeshed in diet culture. And so like he'll poke fun of me sometimes about some of these messages. And like with him and like with our relationship, I can just be like, I can just throw some things at him that like will make him think a little bit more about it. But then like I have other relationships where I wouldn't do that because I don't want to offend, or like, I don't even think offending is really that bad. Like, do you, like, do what makes sense for you. But I think if you can have the conversation, have it. Even if that means writing a letter, do that. If for whatever reason the conversation doesn't go well, or you just feel like that is going to be a disaster and you don't want to do that, I think it's really important just to limit your time around them and know that if they do make these comments about your food choices or about your body size, that is about them. That is not about you. My favorite quote ever, and I think it will be for my whole life, is a quote by Jen Sincero from her book, You're a Badass.
I love her. Yes.
The best.
Yes.
Everybody should read those books. But she says, what other people think about you has nothing to do with you and has everything to do with them.
Yes.
And so when I get attacked for these messages, I think that all the time. Like, that has really nothing to do with me. Their thoughts and their beliefs have to do with them. And so if they see me doing something, it's not about me, it's about them. And again, I think that just helps take the power away from like how they're trying to affect you. And you're like, nope, I'm not accepting that. And limiting your time or just doing whatever you can to sort of tune that out is like really important.